What is up, ballers? We're going to go over the aggression aspect in this video. That is the red aspect, and it is the aggressive aspect. So we're going to go over some of the characteristics of aggression. We are also going to go over the heroes of aggression and how to build them. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, so the first characteristic of aggression is to draw cards. Red likes to draw a lot of cards, so you have cards like Mission Briefing, Forced Surrender, Black One. These are all cards, whether they be units or events, that draw you cards instantly. So this is the aspect that will keep cards coming into your hand. The other thing that aggression likes to do is to destroy upgrades. Now there's not a lot of upgrades out there, and so therefore there's not a lot of cards that destroy upgrades. But as the game continues to grow, as more sets come out, we will probably see more and more upgrades. As of now, there's Disabling Fang Fighter and Power Failure. These are two cards that will destroy upgrades straight up. So that is another thing that red is very good at. Another one we have is to ready your units. That is to unexhaust them, to untap them, to allow them to attack again, or for at least for the first time. Readying units, it can be a way to just sneak in attacks, and you really have that when you look at Mace Windu, when you look at Keep Fighting, and I'm sure we're going to even get more and more as the sets come out. And then finally, one of the big things about red, about aggression, is dealing damage. You have cards like Open Fire that deal damage right off the bat, but then you also have cards that will deal damage from the unit side, like Emperor Palpatine coming in and dealing damage throughout, and then Bombing Run dealing a huge amount of damage throughout multiple different units. So red can definitely deal a ton of damage out there. So now that we've kind of covered some of the key characteristics of aggression, let's get into the heroes and how to build these heroes. Now, red or aggression is the aggro aspect, so we are going to be looking at a lot of heroes that look to get aggressive. And starting off, we're going to look at the aggression hero. After that is the red-white heroes, and we're looking at Cassian Andor and Sabine Wren. Both of these are very, very aggressive, especially when we look at Sabine. She is going to look to deal damage to both bases when she is in her hero form, but when she's in her unit form, she will only deal damage to your opponent's base, looking to deal direct damage to their base at all times that she attacks, or when you tap her in hero form. So it is a very, very aggressive deck, because you're right off the bat, turn 0, you're going to be dealing damage. So that is really what you're going for. And she tends to come out a little bit sooner than most heroes, so she's coming out aggressive. She's coming out very aggro. Some of the colors you can pair with her is green, because green allows you to have multiple attacks in one go. I have a lot more small units to pair up with as far as green white. So red, white, green, or green Sabine is a very good deck going around right now. But we also have Cassian Andor, and Cassian Andor allows you to draw some extra cards, which in this game is very, very good. Anytime that you can have a card draw for the first time you deal 3 or more damage to the base is extremely good, because then even if you just have to pay 1 in his hero form, having to pay 1 to draw a card is totally worth it. When he's out on his ground unit form, then you don't even have to start paying anymore. You just draw cards. It's amazing. It allows for you to take the draw card mechanic that aggression gives us and really go aggressive with it. Still just coming at them, trying to destroy their base, trying to deal damage to the base. When you're building a Cassian deck, you are wanting to get around the Sentinel, get around the shield units. So come in with that Saboteur, try to put all your units out there to have some way just to constantly be able to attack your opponent's base. Pair this with green just as well, and I think it would work great. Alright, now let's get into the red black, or the aggression villainy heroes. There's 3 of them here, because we have Darth Vader. Now Darth Vader is not as aggressive as some of the other heroes that we mentioned earlier. In fact, he is very costly to bring out. However, having the red or the aggression aspect allows us to have cards that will deal damage to our opponents. Deal damage through like bombing rounds to wipe the board clean, or just open fire to like destroy certain units. Force choke, that's another way to deal some damage. All these things can help keep your opponent's board clear, so give you time to bring out Lord Vader and Emperor Palpatine and any other big costing red-black attacks. So that's really what you're looking to do when you're building Lord Vader. Probably here again, green is very good to add on. Not so much for like the little guys, but more for bringing in the resupplies and the super laser guy. Both these things can help add more resources quicker so that you can bring out Vader, Emperor, anything else sooner and really just dominate the game. Now, on the opposite end is IG-88. IG-88 looks a little bit like Sabine Wren and Cassian Andor. It's going to look to go very aggressive, going very wide. You definitely have the advantage when you have more units. So this is a very aggressive deck. You're going to be red, black, probably yellow, as there is a lot of 1-drops in yellows, 2-drops in yellow. That is the cunning aspect, and really just outnumber your opponent. Finally, we have the Grand Inquisitor. This guy looks to deal damage to his own units. However, if you're rocking units with grit, if you're rocking units that have an effect that when they take damage, they get some sort of effect going off, then this is perfectly fine to deal a little bit of damage to your own units so that they can attack again, because he readies them. He uses the aggression characteristics of ready. So therefore you can get multiple attacks off with one unit in a single turn, and that's really what you're looking to do with the Grand Inquisitor. Also, he is part of the Force, so you can add Force cards with him as well to add a little bit more dynamic there. With him, I would suggest adding maybe some blue, as that has some Force ability cards with it. That is the entirety of the aggression aspect from this first set. It is, again, the aggressive aspect. So you're going to build more aggressive decks with this icon. So look to do that. Look to have fun. Go overwhelm your opponents. Get them in the early game. Don't get to that late game unless you're Vader. Then you really want to be there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.